Welcome to Big Brother Basics, where we break down the basics of Big Brother Basics Season 2. I'm Jacob Harple, and with me is the always fantastic, always fabulous Joe Gonzalez. Joe, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me.
And with us is a special guest flying in from Buffalo. I wanted to say Boston because this is the first B that came to my mind. Buffalo, New York. The always erratic, always ecstatic, Zack Pieper. Zack, how are you doing?
I feel like a wrestler right now. That sounded great. Thank you.
Awesome. So we're just going to kind of go through these week's festivities, week 3 and the fast forward week. Zack hasn't really been keeping up, but he has some expertise about this reality TV shows, and he just kind of chime in whenever it's appropriate. So we go into the week 3 HOH competition. It's an endurance competition where they have to spin. Round and round they go until they fall down. Zack, what was your reaction when you found out that these house guests had to spin for HOH?
For how long that they had to spin and how long some of them did, like, good luck to them. Like, I would have not lasted as long as them. Like, amazing effort on them, I would say.
Right, yeah, I was surprised because I planned these competitions out to not last more than 2 hours, and they were spinning every 3 seconds, and they were just like, I need this HOH. I forgot to include that factor in, you know, that they want to win this competition. I was like, no, I would like totally throw it at that point. Well, at the end of the day, Mike ended up winning for this endurance competition. He came out of nowhere. We didn't really know where Mike stood within the first 2 weeks. What was your reaction, Joe, when Mike won the competition?
Well, going into this week, we saw Mike a little behind the scenes. He was, inching a little further, closer to, getting into a respectable position. So people, now that he's won HOH, they're kind of like, oh, we need to pay attention to Mike. Like, he's here to play. He's here to talk. He's here to, play this game and see what's going to happen. Like, there's a lot of great stuff that happens this week.
And like Mike and Blair were put in the same groups, but Blair was the person that ended up going home for being inactive. And then here comes Mike into a position of power. It's really fun to see this like inactivity that go into some activity, and then he also is in a position of power. So good for you, Mike. And then he decides to nominate Ryan and Jason. With, I think, Ryan being the intended target. I mean, Ryan did get second place in the spinning competition, so he was spinning with Mike for 2 hours and 45 minutes. Zack, if you were Ryan in this situation, how would you feel just being nominated after spinning for 2 hours and 45 minutes?
Pissed off as hell.
Yeah,
like,
right?
I just would not be able to take that. No.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that he ended up putting up Ryan because of that. I thought that would have been an easy, we both made it this far. Yeah. But I think
like a deal could have been made at the end.
It could have. However, because I was saying spin every 3 seconds, they couldn't say a word in edgewise. So it was a shame. But yeah, Ryan's up on the block. And then we come up with this random rivalry between Mike and Jason. It's a little bit of an irrelevant rivalry, but it's a rivalry nonetheless. How did you feel when Mike had these feelings about Jason? Like, he just doesn't like him at all.
I think it's more so that he knows. I think Mike is pretty experienced, and he knows that in these games you have to have a visible, you have to have visible lines drawn. If people know that he's putting up these 2 people and he wants them both gone, obviously Ryan is his target, but he lets it know that Jason is also his target. There's just an easy thing in case he fumbles into another HOH later. He's doing a great job of making sure the house knows where his head's at, despite not knowing where it was at 2 weeks ago.
Mike also made these nominations after the saboteur locked 7 house guests out of the boards. So Kirsten is the saboteur, and she locked out 7 house guests, and the only 2 people that were not locked out were Ryan and Jason. So I wonder if this played a factor into Mike saying, you know what, we all may have a disadvantage in the next competition. Let me just go ahead and put up Ryan and Jason.
The other 2, yeah.
Yeah. So that, and then because Mike also was saying if he was banking on the veto being used. Like, he was saying, if the veto is used, which I expect it to be since we're all having a disadvantage, I'll just put up Kirsten. It'll be no big deal. So another thing, though, is that we said that it would be a disadvantage in an upcoming competition. We never said it would be the power of veto. So unfortunately for Ryan and Jason, it was a disadvantage for the following HOH competition. So anyways,
Ryan, we are so sorry about the vegan grocery list, Ryan.
Oh, the vegan grocery list. Oh, that was so funny. Okay, so then the veto happens. It's a word competition. Who thought that Katie would win as the English teacher? So it was between Katie and Ryan in, I want to say, the second to last round.
Oh, Ryan again?
So Katie was selected to go in by Mike, and she got to select either Mike or Ryan to compete against. And she ended up picking Ryan. Now, Joe, you know about this 5-person alliance.
The Teacher's Pet Alliance.
What do you think is happening with that group now that Katie so bluntly selected somebody in her own group to eliminate in the veto competition?
Honestly, I don't think that Sam noticed. But I think that Ryan obviously felt this really certain way after. It's like, why would you pick the person you're in an alliance with and not the HOH? Mm-hmm. Like this, if she was going to be loyal to the alliance, obviously she would have tried to take the HOH out. Mm-hmm. But Ryan now knows that that's not the case. Like, it's like, okay, like lines are drawn. Even if Katie's like, oh, well, I just thought, it'd be fun. We would play this game together, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. Ultimately, Katie came out with the most knowledge of those words, and she was able to secure herself the veto win.
She didn't want the nominations to change.
Yeah,
like, she wants Ryan to go.
She wanted Ryan to go. Ryan was the target.
Like, Ryan is what is it, against her game? Like, liability is what I'm looking for. And I don't think with that 5-person group, Sam is the only person that's loyal to it and wants it to work because she only talks to those people.
Because she created it.
She did basically
created the alliance.
Like, we were a pink team week 1, let's stick together. And then we have 2 pairs, Kirsten and Ryan, and Jermaine and Katie, that hate each other.
I like you two and you two. Let's do this.
But instead, they're like going after each other. So Katie won the veto. She's super stoked. She's like, okay, finally. But was there talk about potentially using the veto? I don't think there was, actually.
The only talk that there was that Patrick was saying how he wanted Ryan to go and that he wanted noms to stay the same.
Yeah.
I think Mike was the only one that he was expecting it to be used, then it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so it's fine. Mike wanted these noms. Everyone except for Ryan and Kirsten pretty much got what they wanted, and Sam this week. So
yeah, now it's Ryan and Jason on the block. We go into the veto ceremony where there is this big announcement going on, and here comes Keith with 2 surprises. 1, that there's a fast forward week the following day, and 2, that we're going straight into an instant eviction. Oh my goodness, Zach.
Hi.
So how would you react if you were a nominee and like you just found out the veto's not used and you're going straight into eviction? What's going through your mind at this point?
I would just try to think as fast as I can, like, what can I do to get these people to save me? And, how quickly can I think on my feet to influence as many people as possible to get, as many votes as I can get to stay.
Sure. So this is very, I want to say, Ryan-centered in that Ryan is in a couple groups. So there is Ryan, Kirsten, and Patrick, where Ryan was trying to convince him, like, Patrick, please make it go to a tie. I just want to, like, give the HOH, I want to plead my case to the HOH, just, like, help me get to this tie. And Patrick was like, I don't think the votes are there. And the vote ended up being 4-2. Now, how would you feel being in that group with Patrick, knowing that he was the vote to send you home, not the HOH in the tie?
A little hurt, I guess, that maybe he didn't see enough of the whole game to see that it could have happened and he could have gotten the chance. I wouldn't say bitter because maybe he didn't truly know, but just hurt, I would say.
Yeah, well, Ryan is definitely betrayed by Patrick because
betrayed was the right word.
Betrayed is definitely the big word for Ryan. I think Patrick made a huge error in not allowing that for Ryan because Ryan's only issue with anybody in the game is Patrick because Patrick, he alleged that he was going to be loyal to this group.
And that's the thing. That's why I agree. I do think that was kind of a mistake for Patrick because Patrick knew that if they went to a tie, Ryan was going to go in the tie, no matter what. Like Mike had told, I think Mike had told Katie and Patrick and Jermaine, like I think he told all 3 of them, if it's a tie, I'm sending Ryan out the door. So like, don't get that extra blood that you don't need, especially when it's juror number 1. You don't want to start that jury house with someone that's already against you, because when the next person comes in, they're going to taint you, and that could lead to a disaster for you, my friend. But I don't know. I think that was a mistake, but I don't think that's a game-changing mistake for Patrick right now.
Yes. I think
misstep.
Yeah, I think the difference between Patrick and Tom from season 1 is that Tom had great jury management the entire time. I think Patrick starting off on a troubling foot with sending Ryan in the way he did. But Patrick also has a final 2 in Katie. He wants to ensure that what's best for her is best for him. So Katie really wanted Ryan to go. Patrick's like, you know what? We need to make sure Ryan leaves. And so he disregarded his group with Kirsten and Ryan, basically excluded them from the house and got Ryan out the door.
Well, Patrick and Mike also did say in their confessionals this week that they are threatened by Ryan just in the fact that Ryan does well in these competitions. So they knew that like eventually striking is fine too.
I think the move to get rid of Ryan was only good for Patrick. I don't think it was good for anybody else in the house because Ryan was the only person actively knowing that Patrick needs to go. I think everybody else in the game is like, you know what, Patrick's really cool. Even after the fast forward week, everybody loves Patrick. So I don't know what's going on with this, but we'll just keep on moving on. But I think Ryan leaving was only good for Patrick's game. We'll go into the fast forward week. Jason goes from the bottom to the top. He won the songs challenge. He became HOH, and now he gets to determine the fate of somebody's game at the end of this fast forward 1 hour round.
Or does he?
A whole hour.
A whole hour
Just an hour
and a half. So he ends up nominating Mike and Sam. Joe, do you think these were the correct nominations for him?
I think those were the safest nominations for him. He was just nominated by Mike. Sam is still kind of on the outs and is an easy nom for people. It's not going to ruffle any feathers by nominating Sam and Mike. I think that was a good move by Jason.
And she's going to have a lot of, if she does end up getting that power position, then she's going to have so many people that nominated her that it may not even go back to him.
It's true. That's very, very true. And we end up going into the veto competition, and Sam pulls it out. Sam wins the power of veto, and I think it just went against what a lot of people were thinking. They're thinking of anticipation in case Mike wins, but they never anticipated Sam winning. And so Sam removes herself from the block, and Jason has absolutely no idea what he's going to do. He struggles, but he ends up putting up Jermaine. Joe, were you surprised when he put up Jermaine?
Yeah, I was not sure that was going to happen. I was thinking that it could have maybe been Willie, but I mean, I guess he just wants to, keep some nice connections of some sort with him. Maybe he thinks that Willie can win some challenges coming up. But I was surprised, but I was not completely shocked.
I was even thinking like Kirsten potentially. Like I thought Willie was in danger. I thought Kirsten was in danger. And then when he said Jermaine, I was like, oh my. Like I had no idea because like Jermaine's not going anywhere.
Right.
Like if the nominations were to stay the same, Jermaine's good. So I'm like, are you sure you want to put Jermaine up on the block? And there's this trend where the person that gets second place gets eliminated that round because Ryan got second place in the HOH and Jermaine got second place in the fast forward HOH.
But you said if the nominations stay the same.
If the nominations stay the same, and then all of a sudden there's a power that was used from the saboteur, Kirsten. She earned the DPOV from completing her 6 tasks as a saboteur, 3 weekly and 3 seasonal.
Okay.
And so she received this Diamond Power Veto as a reward. She ended up using it that round. She could have used it any time between Final 8 through the Final 6.
So was the envelope thing a lie, by the way, that she said?
Everything's a lie.
I'm just getting this information right now. So.
Just because you get information from the players in the game.
Yeah.
So that was a trap.
Envelopes.
That was a trap by production.
Okay.
So anyways, Kirsten receives a Diamond Power Veto, and she used it the first chance that she got to ensure that Jermaine or Katie is broken up. Now, Zach, do you think that that's a good move? Because Jermaine and Katie are the only really visible pair in this game. Do you think that it was worth Kirsten using the Diamond Power Veto at the Final 8?
All I can speak on is what Jermaine says in the discourse. But Jermaine says that it's a stupid idea to use the Diamond Power Veto because it's practically like a super idol in Survivor where you could use it to save yourself, but she used it to eliminate or to save someone that wasn't even herself that was on the block. So it's not, in my opinion, the greatest idea.
Normally, I would agree with you. However, the position that Kirsten was in, if she would have used it defensively later, she's at a point right now where she doesn't really have many allies.
It's true.
If she was to save herself in a future round and then put somebody else up and that person stay, then she's in even more trouble because then she's pulling out of power, trying to make a power move, falls on her face, doesn't work.
Well, I'm just getting all the information from you.
No, we're giving you the information.
No. So I don't think that this was a bad idea for Kirsten. I do think it's a little early to be playing that hard when your power can go all the way to Final 6. But I think that it's a good move for her. I think that looks like people respect her, and people don't even think that she was the saboteur. They think that she earned the freaking power through other means.
From envelopes.
Well, not even through the envelopes.
Not even through envelopes anymore.
Kirsten,
This comes out in a week.
No, this is fine. Kirsten created this lie that she received the key to the HOH bedroom when she was sat out of the competition by the Saboteur week 2. And she got to pick one of 3 boxes, and she picked the box that got the DPOV. People are eating this up. They really do not connect the DPOV to the Saboteur. And so we as production have to keep up with Kirsten's lies and try to make sure that we're not ruining anything for her game. Even when we did the exit interview with Jermaine, we didn't mention anything about the Saboteur, because I was assuming that it was everybody knows
she played with you.
But nobody knew.
He thinks it's Patrick.
Yeah, she did a really good job. And the other thing about using the DPOV this way that I think is a benefit for Kirsten is that I feel like it could be seen as more respectable in the jury if she were to make the final 2. She could say that she used the DPOV offensively. She was never in danger. She made a power move.
She made that power move.
She did that.
Yeah.
She broke up the biggest duo in the game according to house speculation.
Yeah.
Speculation.
It was very entertaining. Now, a negative for that move is that she's saving somebody like Mike, who was clearly going after her group the previous week. He got rid of Ryan. I already saw a confessional from Mike where Mike was saying, I bet Kirsten honestly made a mistake by, she had the chance to get rid of me this game, and she saved me. But Mike knew that the DPOV wasn't used to save him. It was used as a strategic move on her part.
To take out one pair.
Go Mike.
What do you think about Mike's perception of that, and how Kirsten could have handled it differently?
I would just say that obviously he's got it kind of right, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that he just has to use this information to the best of his ability, and just running to everyone and saying that, this was used this way and not for me, it could potentially just hurt him.
Yeah. So Katie gets nominated right next to Jermaine, and what was great is that before this, I was like, the fast forward week, Patrick, Katie, and Jermaine are in the best positions. And guess what? Jermaine and Katie are nominated next to each other. We see reactions from every house guest. Katie's shocked, Patrick's shocked. But I think the person that's the most upset by this is Sam. Sam had her group with Kirsten, Jermaine, Katie, and
her lovely group together.
Katie, Jermaine, Kirsten, and Sam. And now they're just blown up. It's no longer a group at all.
Oh.
Sam is unbelievably pissed off at Kirsten now for going after people that's inside her alliance that only Sam's loyal to. So, what do you think about Sam's position in this game and how she should go about it moving from here?
Sam should really tread carefully if she wants to continue to survive. But I do think that these past 2 rounds have definitely put targets on other people rather than her. Even though she's an easy nom for people, I don't expect her to be hitting the block every week because people want to take shots at these other people within each other's game. The only way I see Sam going up is if, let's say, Willie wins. He's going to put her up. Who else is going to put her up?
Kirsten's going to put her up. Kirsten and Sam have a loss of trust in each other.
Oh, is that completely done now?
Yeah, Kirsten said she would probably nominate the 2 other girls, Katie and Sam.
Yeah, don't you know?
Oh, I mean, it's okay. Girl power.
Yeah, I think Sam's only shot at not getting hit on the block is if Katie wins. Because even Patrick's sketched out by Sam. Patrick thinks that Sam's a saboteur. Willie thinks that Sam's a saboteur. I think Sam is in hot water, especially with how she handles situations like these, high stress, needing to adapt.
A lot of emotional reaction, it sounds like.
Exactly. Sam is an emotional player. She doesn't necessarily think strategic or long term, but just who she likes. Even when she wanted to keep Jermaine was fine getting rid of Sam week 1, but she's like, I like Jermaine, so I don't need to get rid of him now. But yeah, it was pretty clear that Jermaine was in hot water because Patrick basically has a lot of influence in the house, and Katie's his final 2. So I think Jermaine was definitely dead man walking as soon as Katie got on the block. Patrick was very able to talk to people saying, I'm voting out Jermaine. We have the votes to get rid of Jermaine. Mike almost voted out Katie because Mike was under the impression that he had a final 2 with Katie and found out that Katie was willing to vote him out over Sam and then him out over Jermaine. So Mike's getting all this information. So, but at the end of the day, 4-1 vote. Sam was the only vote to keep Jermaine, and Jermaine is walking out the door. Now, this rips the game wide open. It's final 7. Even though there's people that think that this was a terrible move. This opened the game for, I would say, people like Mike, who was on his way out the door, and people like Sam, who was loyal to this group that would like benefit, but she wouldn't benefit from it. So Jermaine leaving is excellent for Sam's game, because Katie already mentioned, I want to work with Patrick and I want to work with Sam. That's another spot up inside the house. She can start
thinking of different ways to advance herself in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
She just has to fight for it, because I know she doesn't want to talk to these people. She's like, I hate all of them. And it's fine. You don't have to like them. You just have to get them to keep you in the game.
And she's done a good job at that. She survived the first 2 nominations. She's nominated 3 out of the 4 weeks. I have to say, Sam's story arc is hard for anybody. So like, I wouldn't be able to handle being in a game where I'm nominated the first 2 weeks, and then my alliance falls apart the week after, and then my closest ally leaves the round after that. It sucks seeing your friends leave round after round. But I hope that she perseveres and pushes through. Definitely an underdog story. But I would root for her even more if she didn't come for production so twisted.
Don't come
for me.
You can't come.
All right. So do we have any predictions for who's going to win tonight's HOH? Because we're making this right before the HOH tonight.
What's the
Final
HOH?
7.
What are they doing?
I will keep that secret. But who are you rooting for to win HOH?
Sam or Mike?
Sam or Mike?
I'm rooting for a Mike HOH. I think that it'll be...
Could you imagine just like back-to-back weeks of HOH? Just because the fast forward makes it quick.
Helps.
And so Mike's in a position of power for like 2 weeks in a row. That'd
be great.
That'd be funny.
It would definitely help his game out a lot. And I think even though he'll get blood again, I think he needs it, and I think he wants the blood.
I'm rooting for Patrick to win HOH so that he can ruin his game. Like,
I'm pretty sure he's gonna throw it.
No, he's not.
He didn't.
He said in his diary room, if you would watch it, is that he really wants to win the HOH because he's feeling.
Well, Patrick took a week off. He's fine.
He really wants to.
I'll come for him.
He wants to win HOH because he feels like a lot of people are like understanding that Patrick's in a great position, and he wants to now make moves and solidify certain people and put other people where they need to be.
But I hope that veto ain't used.
Yeah, right? Like, I think that only works if veto's not used. But I'm rooting for Patrick to win so that we can see him handle another stressful HOH reign. This will be the last person to be in the bottom row. Then we'll be at final 6. So any predictions on who's going to be the next person to go in jury? For me, I think it's Sam. I think Sam has had her run in this game. So unless she wins HOH, I think it's very likely that she could be the next person to leave.
With almost no information, I'm going to say you've mentioned Willie so few times that I would say he just seems so unimportant to the story. So I would say I would hope that
very interesting.
I'm going to throw a hardball here, and I'm going to say that Katie gets blindsided.
We all know that's not going to happen.
It's true. She's doing pretty well.
She's in a good spot.
She's in a good spot now, especially if she lost her name. So.
All right. Well, that's basically it. Thank you so much, Zach, for being in this episode. It really means a lot. Like, thank you. We hope you enjoy your stay here at Dallas and the BB Basics production house. So, yeah, that's it for this week, and we'll find out what happens next week. Stay tuned and stay
basic.